Have you ever lost someone you loved so deeply, you built your whole life around the memories they left behind? My name is Margaret, and I am 68 years old. For the last 10 years, ever since my dear husband Frank passed, my life has been quiet. And I liked it that way. My world is small, but it is full. It's the sound of the kettle whistling in the morning. It's the stubborn weeds in my tomato garden and the smell of old books and lemon polish in my little house. On my mantle, there are 2 pictures. One is of Frank and me on our wedding day. So young we look like children playing dress-up. The other is of my granddaughter, Lily. If a heart can have a favorite, she is mine. Lily is 8 years old. She is my son, Mark's only child. And she is, in every way, the light of my life. Mark is a good son. Steady, quiet, just like his father. He married his college sweetheart, Sarah. And Sarah is complicated. She's a very modern woman, always on her phone, always busy with her online business, always looking just past you when you're talking. She's not a bad mother, just a distracted one. But it didn't matter. Because from the moment Lily was born, she was mine. That sounds selfish. I know. But you have to understand. When I first held her, she opened her eyes. And I promise you, I was looking straight into my Frank's eyes. It was a perfect, startling blue. As she grew, it was uncanny. She had his smile, his way of tilting her head when she was thinking, even his stubborn cowlick. Mark and I would laugh about it. He just couldn't bear to leave you, Mom, Mark would say, kissing my forehead. Sarah never laughed. She'd just force a tight smile and say, "She's all me from the neck down." Though, my bond with Lily was my joy. I was the one who taught her to bake. I was the one who read her the Harry Potter books, doing all the voices. I was the one she ran to when she fell and scraped her knee. Sarah was her mother, but I was her person. And I felt a little guilty because I knew I loved her with a fierceness that was different. It was the love of a grandmother, yes, but it was also the love of a widow, clinging to the last piece of her husband. My quiet life was built around her. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons were ours. The squeak of the school bus, the slam of the door, and her little voice yelling, "Grandma, I'm here." That was my life. It was simple. It was good. And I thought it would go on just like that, until my time came to join Frank. But a quiet house has a way of holding its breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And mine was about to drop from a very great height. It was a Tuesday, a bright, sunny October afternoon. Lily was at a friend's house for a play date. I was in the kitchen, pulling a batch of oatmeal raisin cookies, her favorite, from the oven. Then the phone rang. It was Mark. His voice was cracked, high-pitched, with a panic I hadn't heard since he was a teenager and crashed his first car. "Mom, it's Lily. She fell." My heart stopped. The cookie sheet clattered to the floor. "What is she?" "She fell from a treehouse. A bad one. Her arm." "Mom, it's bad, and she hit her head. We're at St. Jude's. Just get here." The drive to the hospital was a blur. I don't remember parking. I just remember the smell, that sharp, antiseptic, fear smell. I found them in the pediatric emergency bay. Mark was pacing, his face the color of ash. Sarah was sitting in a plastic chair, staring at her phone, though her thumbs were perfectly still. "Where is she?" I demanded. "She's in radiology," Mark said. running his hands through his hair. "They're doing scans." "Her arm is a compound fracture. Mom, the bone. It came through the skin." I think I made a sound. I sank into the chair next to Sarah. She didn't look up. "She'll be fine," Sarah said, but her voice was flat. "She's a clumsy kid." "Don't say that," Mark snapped. "Don't you dare." An hour later, a doctor came out. He looked tired. "Mr. and Mrs. Evans?" We all stood up. "Lily is stable," he said, and I finally breathed. "The break is severe, and she'll need surgery to set the bone. She also has a moderate concussion, so we'll be keeping her for a few days for observation." "Thank God," I whispered. "But," the doctor continued, and my blood ran cold again. "There is a complication." He held up a chart. "During her blood work, we found some inconsistencies. Her blood type is AB negative. It's the rarest type, which is fine. We have it in stock. The issue is her platelet levels are dangerously low, and her RH factor is showing markers that are very unusual. Given the head trauma, we need to be prepared for any possibility, including a significant blood transfusion. We'd prefer to use directed donor blood from a parent, if possible. It's just safer." "Of course," Mark said immediately, rolling up his sleeve. "Take mine. I'm O positive, the universal donor." "Right." "I'm A positive," Sarah offered, finally pocketing her phone. The doctor looked confused. He lowered his voice. "Mr. Evans, can I speak to you and your wife privately?" I started to step back, but Mark grabbed my arm. "My mom stays. Whatever it is. Just say it." The doctor sighed. He looked from Mark to Sarah, then back to Mark. "Mr. Evans, it's not possible for an O positive father and an A positive mother to have an AB negative child." The hallway went silent. I could hear the hum of the vending machine down the hall. I didn't understand. "What do you mean?" I asked. Sarah's face went white. Absolutely. Terrifyingly white. Mark just stared. You must have the charts mixed up. That's basic biology. You're wrong." "I am not wrong," the doctor said softly. "We ran the test twice." He looked at Sarah, then, very pointedly, at Mark. "Mr. Evans, there is a 0% chance that you are this child's biological father." Time stopped. Mark made a sound, a short, sharp gasp. He looked at Sarah. Sarah looked at the floor. And in that moment, the entire world, my quiet house, my garden, my love for Frank, my bond with my granddaughter, it all cracked down the middle. I looked through the window into the recovery room at that beautiful little girl with her father's, with Frank's, eyes. And a question, a horrible, poisonous question, planted itself in my heart. If my son is not her father, then who is she? And what did this mean for us? The doctor mumbled something about giving us space and disappeared. I call what happened next the great silence. For a full minute, none of us moved. Mark stood like a statue, his hands clenched at his sides. Sarah was shaking, her eyes screwed shut, as if she could make this all go away. My own mind was a storm. This is a mistake, a hospital error. It has to be. But one look at Sarah's face told me it wasn't. Mark's voice, when it finally came, was a whisper. "Sarah, tell me he's wrong?" Sarah opened her mouth, but only a sob came out. Sarah. His voice was louder now, shaking with a rage I had never heard in my gentle son. Look at me and tell me he is wrong. She finally looked up, her face streaming with tears. Mark, who? He breathed. Who was it? It doesn't matter, she cried, her voice echoing in the sterile hallway. It was before. It was that week. Mark, the week we broke up, before we got back together. It was once a stupid, drunken mistake. I didn't even know his last name. 9 months later, Mark said, his voice flat. Lily was born. I wasn't sure, she insisted. The timeline, it was so close. I prayed she was yours. And then, when she was born, she looked like your family. My heart seized. Oh, God. She didn't look like our family. She looked like Frank. She looked like Frank, I said out loud. My voice sounded distant. Sarah turned on me, her eyes flashing with desperation. Yes, Margaret, she did. I saw it too. I thought it was a sign that it was all okay, that she was meant to be ours. It was a lie. We all knew it. She knew it. She had passed this child off as my son's for 8 years. Mark turned and walked away. He didn't run. He just walked. 1 foot in front of the other, down the long green hallway until he pushed through the double doors and was gone. Mark! Sarah screamed. She made to run after him. But I did something I've never done. I grabbed her arm. Hard. You stay here, I said, my voice cold as ice. You stay here for that little girl who is waking up from surgery in a strange place. You will not leave her alone. I'll go to my son. I found Mark in the parking garage, slumped over the wheel of his car, sobbing. Not crying. Sobbing. Deep, ragged, broken sounds that tore me apart. I got in the passenger seat. I didn't say anything. I just put my hand on his back. My whole life, he choked out. My daughter, my little girl, Mom, she's not mine. 8 years. I read her stories. I taught her to ride a bike. I held her when she had a nightmare. It was a lie. No, I said, my own tears starting. The love was not a lie. That was real. What's real? He yelled, slamming his fist on the dashboard. The fact that my wife is and my daughter isn't my daughter. What am I supposed to do? What were we supposed to do? This was the beginning of the escalation. This was when everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Mark didn't go home. He came to stay with me. In his old childhood bedroom, the family was broken, shattered, into a million pieces. And my own internal obstacle, my own private hell, began. I couldn't sleep. I would sit in my dark living room, staring at Lily's picture on the mantel, the picture of the girl with Frank's eyes, and the most terrible, shameful thought crept in. Do I still love her? My love for her had been so tangled up in my love for Frank. She was my link to him. She was the continuation of my blood, my family. And now, she wasn't. She was the child of a stranger. A mistake. I would think this, and then I would be crippled with guilt. How can you even think that? She's just a little girl. She's the same girl you baked cookies with yesterday. But when I closed my eyes, I couldn't see her face. I saw Sarah's lie. I saw a stranger's face. My favorite grandchild. What a fool I'd been. My love felt fraudulent, and I hated myself for it. The external problems got worse. Mark was a ghost. He went to work. He came home. He sat in front of the television, and he drank. He was grieving, not just the lie, but the loss of the life he thought he had. And Sarah became the antagonist. Once she realized Mark was not going to just get over it, she went on the attack. She blamed us. She said Mark was overreacting. She said I had poisoned him against her. She started using Lily as a weapon. "You can't see her," she told me when I called to check on Lily. Post-surgery. What? Sarah. She'll be wondering where I am, where her father is. Her father is busy drinking himself into a stupor at his mommy's house, she spat. And you're the one who looked at me in that hospital. I saw your face. You judge me. You're not going to be around my daughter with that judgment. You're not going to poison her against me. I would never. You've poisoned my husband. That's enough. The line went dead. Days turned into a week, then 2. Mark was sinking deeper into a depression. I was drowning in my own confusion and shame. And we were cut off from Lily. I felt like I was losing my mind. The silence in my house was no longer peaceful. It was deafening. The family wasn't just broken, it was at war. I finally decided I couldn't take it. I was a grandmother. That little girl needed me. I didn't care about the blood. I just needed to see her. I knew her school schedule. I drove there at 3 p.m., right when the bell rang. I just wanted to see her face, to tell her I loved her. I saw her. She came out the front door, her arm in a bright pink cast, her backpack slung over her other shoulder. Lily. I called, walking toward the gate. Her face lit up. Grandma. She started to run toward me. And my heart finally felt a spark of joy. And then a car door slammed. Lily, get back here. Sarah marched across the lawn, her face a mask of fury. She grabbed Lily's good arm. What do you think you're doing? Sarah hissed at me. I told you to stay away. Sarah, please, I begged, my voice breaking. Don't do this. She's a child. She needs us. She needs me, not you, not her father who abandoned her. He didn't abandon her. I cried, my voice rising. He's broken. You broke him. This was it. The all is lost moment. The parents and kids around us were staring. It was a scene, a horrible public scene. Sarah turned to Lily, her voice full of fake tears. I'm sorry, sweetie. Grandma is just... She's very angry. She's trying to take you away from me. No, I said, horrified. Lily, that's not true. But Lily just looked at me, her little face terrified. She looked at her mother, crying. She looked at me, yelling. And she did the only thing an 8-year-old can do. She burst into tears. Go away, Grandma, she shrieked, burying her face in Sarah's coat. You made Mommy cry, you're mean, go away. Sarah scooped her up, shot me a look of pure, venomous triumph, and stormed off to her car. I stood there on the sidewalk, frozen. The bell had stopped ringing. The schoolyard was empty. Go away, Grandma. She had chosen, and she hadn't chosen me. I had lost her. The lie had won. My son was a shell. My family was gone. And the little girl I loved more than anything in this world now hated me. I went home. I walked to the mantel. I took the picture of Lily, the one with Frank's eyes, and I laid it face down. I had truly, finally, lost everything. I sat in my quiet, dark house for 2 days. I didn't garden. I didn't bake. I just sat. I was at the bottom of the well, and in that darkness, a different kind of thought began to form. I was 68 years old. I had buried a husband. I had raised a son. I had survived cancer at 50. Was I really going to be taken down by Sarah's pathetic, desperate lie? Go away, Grandma. Lily's words echoed in my head, but now I heard them differently. I didn't hear, "I hate you." I heard, "I'm scared." She was an 8-year-old girl, caught in an emotional tornado she couldn't understand. Her mother was hysterical. Her father had vanished. Her grandmother was yelling at her mother in the schoolyard. Of course she was scared. My internal conflict, the shame over why I loved her, the blood versus bond debate, it just evaporated. What did it matter why I loved her? What did it matter if she had Frank's eyes or a stranger's eyes? I had spent 8 years reading her stories. I had kissed her forehead goodnight. I had held her hand at Frank's grave and told her all about the man she looked so much like. That happened. That was real. The love was real. The blood was just water. The years. That was the bond. I realized my transformation had to begin with me. I had to stop being a victim of Sarah's lie and start being the matriarch of this family, whether I liked it or not. I stood up. I went to the mantel and turned Lily's picture back over. I looked at her smile. My Lily. I went to Mark's room. He was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling. The room smelled like stale whiskey. "Get up," I said. He didn't move. "Leave me alone, Mom." I walked over and pulled the curtains open. He groaned and shielded his eyes. "No," I said, my voice harder than he'd ever heard it. "I'm done. I'm done with this. You are wallowing. My life is over," he mumbled. "Oh, stop it," I snapped. "Your life is not over. It's just not the life you thought you had. So what? You're 40 years old. Are you going to let that woman's stupid, cowardly mistake from 9 years ago define the rest of your life? Are you going to let it define Lily's life?" He sat up, his eyes bloodshot. She's not Lily. Don't you dare," I said, pointing a finger at him. "Don't you dare say that. She is the same girl you taught to ride a bike. She is the same girl who thinks you are the strongest, smartest man in the world. And you are her father. You are the only father she has ever known. Biology does not make a man a father. Mark, showing up does. And right now, you are not showing up." I was relentless. "Your father," I said, my voice softening just a bit. "Frank. He would be so ashamed. Not of Sarah. Not of Lily. He would be ashamed of you. For abandoning a child who needs you." He flinched. It was a low blow, but it was the truth. "She's not Frank's granddaughter," he whispered. "No, she's not," I said. "And I've had to make my peace with that. I've had to mourn that. Now you have to. You have to mourn the daughter you thought you had, so you can start loving the daughter you do have. You have 5 seconds to feel sorry for yourself. 4, 3, 2, 1. Get in the shower. We have work to do." He stared at me. And then, for the first time in weeks, a flicker of the old Mark returned. He nodded. The resolution was not fast. It was not a happy ending you see in the movies. It was slow. It was ugly. It was real. We started with therapy. Mark went by himself. I went by myself. Then we went to Sarah, not with anger, with a plan. We sat her down at a neutral place, a coffee shop. "Sarah," Mark said, his voice shaking but steady, "the lie is over. It's done. And what you did. I don't know if I can ever forgive you for it. As my wife," she started to cry. "But," he continued, "that doesn't matter right now. What matters is Lily. I am her father. I am her father. And I am going to be her father. But this war, it stops. Today." We set boundaries. We agreed to family counseling. All three of us. We agreed on a custody schedule for Mark. We agreed, for now, not to tell Lily the truth. She was too young. That was a conversation for years from now to be handled by a professional. The central question, what does this mean for our family? Finally had an answer. It meant our family was a different shape. It was broken, but we were picking up the pieces and gluing them back together. It wasn't pretty. You could see all the cracks. Mark and Sarah are separated. I don't know if they'll ever get back together. Honestly, I don't care. What I care about is that last Tuesday, I was in my kitchen, pulling a batch of oatmeal raisin cookies from the oven. The front door opened. "Grandma, I'm here." Lily ran in and wrapped her arms around my waist. Mark was right behind her. He looked tired, but he was smiling, a real smile. "Hey, Mom," he said, kissing my cheek. "Smells good." Lily looked up at me. "Mommy says I can sleep over tonight. Can we read book 4? Please, Ma." "Of course, sweetie," I said. My heart so full I thought it might burst. My transformation was complete. I looked at this little girl. My little girl. And I didn't see Frank. I didn't see a stranger. I just saw Lily. I am no longer a grandmother who loves her granddaughter because she's a link to her past. I am a grandmother who loves her granddaughter because she is a magnificent, funny, smart little person. And I choose to... The shock from the title of my life. It's over. It's not a wound anymore. It's a scar. And it taught me something I thought I already knew. It taught me what family really means. My story began with a terrible shock, a secret that ripped the rug out from under all of us and tore my family apart. It forced me to look at my own heart, at my own love, and I didn't like what I saw. I saw pride. I saw selfishness. I saw a love that was based on blood, on what I thought she was, a continuation of my story. When that was taken away, I thought the love was gone, too. I thought all was lost, but my journey through that fire taught me something. It taught me that the love I felt for Lily, the real love, had nothing to do with her genes. It had to do with her jokes. It had to do with the nights I rocked her to sleep. It had to do with the 8 years I had chosen to be her grandmother. The emotional truth is, this family is not an inheritance. It is a choice. It's not about bloodlines or heritage or who looks like who on a picture on the mantle. It's about who you show up for. It's about who you fight for. It's about who you choose to love, even when it's hard, even when you're broken. My why, the reason I am telling you this very personal, very painful story is because I know. There is someone listening right now who needs to hear this. We all have messy families. We all have secrets. We all have people who have hurt us and people we have hurt. We all have relationships that are hanging by a thread because of pride or a lie, or an old wound that just won't heal. So, this is my call to action. I want you to think about your life. Is there someone you've been holding at arm's length? A son? A daughter? A friend? A grandchild? Someone you've let a past hurt or a messy situation separate you from? Are you letting a secret have the final say? Are you letting pride win? Please, don't let another day of silence go by. Make the phone call. Send the text. Drive to the house. Choose the love that is right in front of you. Not the perfect, clean love you think you're entitled to. Choose to show up. Please, share your own story of healing, or a time you had to redefine what family means to you in the comments below. Your story might be the one that gives someone else the courage to make that choice. Thank you for listening to Margaret's story. If it resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new story.